This topic that we're going to be delving deep into today is going to be the topic of what is the most American band. And already I have a bunch of questions for myself as to what is actually defined by American. Because the first thing that popped into my head is, what if you're an American that left the United States but came back? And the first example of that I thought was like Hendrix. Because Hendrix was American, left, became
So
Hendrix and came back.
Are we talking about like the most American, like as far as like this makes me think about America, or like the best American band? Like, are you gonna just make me stand up for Aerosmith right now?
Yeah.
Start,
Maybe just get it out of the way. No. See, I think when I thought of this topic, I think it was like when you hear the song or when you hear the band, you think, God damn, that embodies America. Because there's every band that comes from America is an American band. I mean, under all technical recordings, but like the band you hear and you're like, dude, this is like the embodiment. Like if I was a foreigner and someone's like, hey, I want to hear American music, like if you were to show them what it embodies,
See, I wasn't sure when you stated that question. I was thinking more or less like the bands that represent what America stands for when it first became America.
That works too. I mean, and everybody's ideal is going to be
out a lot. Well, throw into it a lot of punk bands.
Well, because everybody's ideals are different, I mean, and we can separate it by genre even, because there was like the American protest scene of the 60s, because a lot of America was like there. Like with like guys like Dylan and guys like, well, he's not American, but
Bob Dylan?
Yeah, well, not Bob Dylan, I was going to say he's not American, but guys like Neil, what's the dude from Canada? Papa Grunge, not Neil Diamond. Neil Young. But guys like Neil Young came from Canada, and you hear it, and you're like, dude, that guy's hell of American. He's hell of Canadian.
He is, eh?
He is. But, so...
Fucking hoser.
So, on our page, people started commenting, and one of the musicians that people wrote was like Jerry Lee Lewis. I can get behind that. He was kind of like,
Well, you could also go the Beatles, because they're not from America, but they decided to live in America.
That's true.
That's true too.
There's actually, what is there? They built strawberry fields in America, in New York.
Right?
So. Which, we are Americans only because we came from another country.
True story. So let's talk about Native American music at this point.
I don't really know where to go with that.
Yeah. Pocahontas?
System of that was terrible.
Yeah. So Anthony Kiedis is the only American? But, yeah, so, I mean, let's just lob them out there and we'll hash it out and we'll figure it out. I don't know if one of you guys just wants to name somebody and we'll go from there.
The first person, when I saw what you had posted as, like, a topic, I was like, most American. And then the first question was, are we talking about best or most American? And I'm like, okay, well, the most American person, as far as music, is fucking Bruce Springsteen, man, the boss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, dude? Like,
that's the obvious, though.
That's so obvious.
And that is the obvious. I mean, from Born in the USA to his... I mean, he looks like he just walked out of a fucking garage.
Steel mill.
Yeah.
Right.
He was literally working on my car, and now he's on stage with the E Street Band with some redheaded chick and some dude laying on the sax. So,
Isn't his wife?
Yeah, it is his wife, the tambourine player / just random chick. But the boss, I mean, is America. But I mean, what makes him, like American? Is it his lyrics? Is it his face? Is it his being? Is it, like what he represents?
I think it's blue collar.
They call him the boss. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, then what about the king? Because the king is better than
Elvis,
the boss.
Yeah.
Elvis is Elvis is pretty American. I mean,
who wins if you have like a standoff? Like, who do you follow? Do you follow the boss or do you follow the king? Like,
Most people follow the boss because the king tells
the boss what to do. I mean,
That's
directly.
Right. So the boss is just giving us Elvis's bullshit.
Directly, technically, he's my boss. I have to do what he says. Look, King, if you have a problem, you talk to my boss. We'll go from there.
And then, does Prince rank ahead of the boss, or?
See, for me, this is hard because I thought about that.
But then you got the king of pop.
It's a true story. Who's very American.
Quite American, indeed.
Again, like with the whole like. We were in Gary, Indiana, getting beat by our dad, and then we became.
There's nothing more American.
And then we
than
became
beat
celebrities.
by your old man.
The only problem is when you get that rich, nobody feels sorry for you.
That's
No, I
true.
hella don't feel sorry
It's
for
true.
Michael
Your
Jackson.
past doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't
He
care.
was beaten. He's a millionaire. More than made up for it.
Are there any rich people that I feel bad for as far as music? I can't think of anyone.
I got beat. I'm not a millionaire, so I have
There you go.
no compassion for that guy. No compassion for that guy. I mean, we'll say for conversation's sake, we'll put the boss down as somebody that we consider American. But
Okay, so now we're just talking about individuals.
you can have whole bands,
Okay, no, I know.
absolutely, because
Then it's the Beach
So then
Boys.
since we're now mostly talking about individual, I mean, you know, I get it, the Boss is a band, considered a band. But let's just go then right now with just individual musicians, which is where we're at, and then we'll move over to bands.
oh, that works. So for me, being who I am, like I was thinking pretty long and hard about this, probably longer and harder than I should have. And the first one that came to my head because of like the way I grew up listening to shit and music, is I thought Stevie Wonder. Because Stevie Wonder's pretty American. He doesn't, I mean, he has that weird tribal shit he does later on in his career, but at the beginning, Stevie talked about like middle America. He talked about like, you know, he talked about the jazz scene. He talked about the beginnings of the inner city and just being like a normal human being in America. I don't think Stevie could have existed in another country and it would have been as, you know, if he's coming from England, we're like, come on, dude. It just
Well, they would have sat on him as an infant.
Yeah.
He was defective.
that too. that too. like Veruca down the chute. But for me, it was Stevie Wonder, and he came into my head, and Bob Dylan came into my head.
Bob Dylan is something I thought of too.
Yeah, and
He's gone a long way to make him not very interesting to listen to, though. Now,
Agreed.
I'll give you that. I think it's when Bob Dylan got that stupid hat like Pharrell with the feather in it. I think he lost me at that point. He had like that ridiculous hat with the feather, and he was like, dude, get rid of the band and go back to being acoustic again, Bob, please.
he's one of those guys where like he's gone away so long. I mean, as far as like, you know, as far as being a part of the actual life of music, you know, people talking about it, that you kind of reference him almost as he's gone. Well, you can easily call him a legend because there's a lot of people that like him that some maybe don't even know that he's still around.
But like, yeah, well, even like when he was like still like very, very prominent in the music scene, like dudes like Jimi Hendrix were treating him like he was a god already. Like they were like, you know, praying to Bob
Yeah.
Dylan at night. They were worshiping the guy,
imagine
and he
if
was
he
still
died?
alive.
Could you imagine if he would have died? I mean, a lot of musicians die and their legend just grows. You're like, oh, I really don't
Well,
remember
again-
that band being that good.
Yeah, Blind Melon.
Blind Melon, you're right. Well, the thing is like, when they die, they don't get a chance to fucking soil their image. They don't get a chance
Yeah.
to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like, they're still like that 20-year-old person in your head. They didn't go through that terrible shit where all the other bands do when they're just like I said, man, just putting shit out for the sake of trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
They were still young and full of piss and didn't care what anybody thought. So they were putting out good shit. And then they get to that point to where they're like,
Well,
yeah.
he's to the point now where he really doesn't care what people think. So
Yeah.
it's a great thing. I mean, when he's really gone, people are like, this is how much of a badass he is. He just did not give a shit.
He must have 50 albums, like 50 records.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I'd be willing to
He
gamble
must
that's
have
probably true.
50 records?
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
It seems like he's one of those guys that was just always pumping something out.
Well, but that's the thing is, like, okay, you say you hear one rendition of a song, you're like, I love that song, man. Good luck trying to find that rendition of the song because it's gonna be played at
No kidding.
Like, I love the shit out of Sam Cooke, but it's fucking hard as fuck to find the same rendition that I love.
That's true.
I'll hear the different one. I'm like, oh, I like that too, but goddamn, that way he played it over here. I gotta keep searching. Shit, where
Yeah, it's true. Oh, yeah, well, it's when they get split up on the record labels. Like, he was on Atlantic, he was on Stax, he was on all those different record labels, so everybody was like, hey, let's re-record it so that we can fucking make money off it.
And as a musician that tours and plays it, you're like, oh, you don't get, I don't play it that way anymore.
Yeah, I don't play it that way.
Hey, you're the boss. Do it however you want.
That's true. Well, plus the trade-off, like you said, Bob Dylan didn't live long enough to shit on his legacy, but he lived long enough to put out some shitty music. You know, like so it's like a trade-off.
Keep in mind, he's still around.
Yeah, he's still here.
That's true. He
He
lives
still has
living
time.
long enough.
He still has time.
He still has time to soil himself.
You know, soil himself. It might be time for him to start doing that now. What's he, 80?
He's up there, man.
And by now, I mean, even if he does it, he's got a built-in excuse. You know what I mean?
I'm old as shit, and I'm Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna clean my shit for me.
Incontinence has taken its place.
Well, it's like the Rolling Stones. You go and see them. Like, I mean, I have never seen a Rolling Stones concert, but I would assume going to see him, they would be just kind of chilled and laid back. But then, from what I hear and see, you know, on videos on YouTube, he's going off just as much as he is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I ran like that today, the age that I'm at, which is nowhere near his age, I would be like,
Right?
I'm getting sweaty just watching
Right,
it.
dude?
I
I
don't.
should start like a pool for how Mick Jagger's gonna die.
but he obviously can't
You
be
know?
doing as much drugs as he used to, or else he's
No.
doing more.
Yeah.
We should start a
different drugs.
We should start a musician celebrity death pool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good
That's a
idea.
And
very
they don't
good
fight.
idea.
They don't fight. They just go running around the stage, and it's like 200 yards.
I mean, they're
long.
fighting to see who's going to die first. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, dude.
I have to look at that. So I wonder what the Vegas odds are on that. So, I mean, we've got
Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen.
The
I
Boss
feel like
Dylan.
we have to. I feel like we have to represent Brian Wilson.
See, but I lump Brian Wilson in.
Fucking
With,
surfing USA.
I
Man.
lump him in with the Beach Boys. I would call that the
that's
Beach
a
Boys.
Well, okay,
that's a
I'll
California
accept
band,
that.
which
Yeah.
is American, but that's very California.
But there is
By the
American.
way, is almost America. In some places outside of our.
That's what
our
I'm
country.
saying. That's what I'm
Hey,
saying.
you're Americans, huh? Hey, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Like in the 60s, I don't know if this is true at all, obviously, but I feel like in the 60s, like if you listen to Paul McCartney talk, he talks about, what's he talk? He talks about Brian Wilson. He's from fucking Liverpool, it fucking rains and there's nothing there, you know what I mean? And they think,
Yeah.
like when I think about like America, I couldn't wait to get there. Everybody's a surfer, you know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
like, the
I
Beach
think-
Boys embodied that.
I think that what the Beach Boys did is they gave like a taste of American life to people who lived in shit, like people in Seattle who lived in shitty weather and didn't know what the rest of the world was like.
Right.
And you know they wrapped it up to where it was like literally fun, and it was all about cars, muscle cars, which are really fucking American.
Yeah.
And it was all about chicks in two-piece bikinis, which are very European, but we'll talk about that later. But they made it seem fun, you know, hanging out on the beach and partying and having a good time and playing music. And
So who would you consider to be your
The most American
And
band,
this is overall.
John
all-
Cougar Mellencamp.
Okay.
you know, I have a love-hate relationship with the Cougar because to me, I mean, this may be way off base, but he seems like one of those guys that's like talks like Sling Blade and like literally lives in his van. But like you listen to his songs and you're like, oh man, that like I could see that like as a tourist video for America. Like I could see
That's what I'm saying.
Jack and Diane and Small
That's what
Town
I'm saying.
playing in the back.
Sucking on a chili dog.
Like I don't even know what the song is with the accordion in the back. Wah, 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 wah,
Oh
wah,
yeah,
wah.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like that
I know
should.
exactly
I
what
feel
song
like
you-
that would be on there. Like there would be somebody eating a hot dog in front of the Statue of Liberty with the "I Heart New York" balloon, and that song's playing. But yeah, the Cougar, man. As much as my Discord is where I'm at.
That's, if we're going with best, absolutely not at all.
It doesn't need to
But
be best.
iconic.
It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
best.
But as far as
by
I-
any means, it just needs to represents America.
So what?
Is that sad?
So
Does
what
that
is-
make me want to move to Canada?
So what is it? So that I can say Neil Young.
Rush.
I don't know. I'm really a big fan of Drake, so Canada is a good.
There you go.
I'm not a fan of Drake by any means.
Whatever, DeGrasse.
I liked him until he got in the wheelchair.
So that was the other thing that came up is I was talking to people about it, and they were like, "Well, what about rap? Rap's American."
I would say the most American band of all the rap groups, this is just my opinion, is Public Enemy.
I can give you that.
Because they stand for what America, like I said before, my question, they stand for what America is based upon. Is the freedom of speech and trying to push the envelope. And they pushed it all the way.
So if it's about like standing for like the American like ideals, well, if that's like what we consider the basis, well, then I absolutely lob out Rage Against the Machine.
That's what I was thinking.
If it's
too.
about standing for
Not even
America
them.
ideals,
Tommy
Rage.
Morello.
Well, yeah, Tom
Yeah.
Morello, but Zach De La Rocha, that guy has cool hair, man.
Yeah.
He does. You can't fuck with cool hair.
Fucking cool
He's
hair.
got American ass hair. You know. If we're going with American ideals, I almost feel like, in my mind, there's a band that's not American that would like fulfill the American ideals more. Just like opulent and like like decadent and fucking like don't give a fuck. Like
It's very easily
know?
to absorb the American ideals and not be American.
You know what
Countries
I'm saying?
do it all the
But
time.
then we have to go like, well, what about like these blues guys, fucking Robert Johnson, B.B. King, guys like that. You
Yeah.
Well,
know what I mean? Like,
they influenced
the envelope.
they influenced like everything that came out of Europe, anyways.
Yeah.
Like Howling Wolf and those guys, like people like Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and those guys wanted to be them. They wanted to be that bluesy. So, I mean, does Bo Diddley automatically jump up in the rankings like 20 points?
the guy's name is Bo Diddley, so he's already fucking, you know. Like,
So based on that, it's good, dude, and his name's Howling Wolf. I think his license says Howling Wolf.
that's awesome. I hope it's true.
Well, I mean, let's just face it. In reality, the most famous person to come from whatever genre, more likely than not, isn't the one that started that genre or pushed
Oh,
that
no,
out
no,
that
no,
way.
Definitely not.
So that's the sad thing about it.
Again,
is
back to Elvis, back to the King. He didn't start it, but he absolutely. And is that what it takes to be the American band? Is to like make it popular?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much
Because then Elvis wins again.
Well, you said America. Does that mean Grand Funk Railroad is it?
Oh, dude, I can't even believe you said
I mean-
GFR.
Or what?
Well, I
Wait,
mean, so
I always get them confused with
Well,
Bachman
who's
Turner
holding the torch today?
right now.
right now,
I don't even mean today.
Unfortunately-
I mean like maybe but started the torch within this last decade, or carrying it into this decade.
painfully, I'm gonna say this with a straight face, and I may not ever recall saying it again.
I'm gonna have to walk away.
Might
Quit, dude.
I truly believe, based on their commercial success and their ability to be fucking everywhere, it's going to be the Black Keys.
Oh my god.
I thought for a minute I was with you. I thought you were gonna say Black Crows. I was like, oh, right, dude. Like,
But I think the Black Keys, because they're everywhere and they're pretty hometownish. I mean,
Yeah.
it's them or Mumford and
there's
Sons.
a couple of like frumpy, like flabby white dudes.
That's
and, like,
fucking
you know what I mean?
Americana as it
yeah,
gets.
dude. Like, yeah.
And they have a little bit of talent, and they figured out a way to make
Dude,
money.
I can dig that.
I wasn't sure if we were talking about them or third base.
They're big. Speaking of frumpy, flabby white dudes and rappers,
Gas
hell yeah.
face. For me, it's hard because I want to talk about like rock bands, but then I start thinking about guys like Marvin Gaye, who got 86 before he got to ruin his legacy. But Marvin Gaye had a lot to say. Whoa, like the Cat in the Hat.
Well, dude.
But I mean, if you look back at his body of work and you look back at like where he was talking about pollution and he was talking about like people just loving each other, and he was talking about like inner city blues, where how the government was taking our tax money and fucking us out of
That
it.
was really frowned upon. Really.
That's
frowned
what I'm
upon
saying.
at that
Yeah.
time.
That's what I'm saying. So
Especially
I mean,
in that genre.
but again, that's like the
Just
protest.
Like, how dare you speak up? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yo, bro, you're rocking a genre, bro. You're taking a different direction. We're trying to bring
Yeah.
smiles.
Yeah, he-
not
he-
thought.
He took like R&B and made it political.
Yeah.
That still hasn't changed.
Yeah.
What is thought? What are you
Yeah,
talking about,
yeah.
dude? Like,
Most
yeah.
people in the hip hop is like, hey, you rapping about like this guy over here, or what you've done today?
Yeah.
Talking about how much money you got, bro. You gotta stick to the formula: money, hose, twerk, and shoot.
And twerk.
Twerk. Twerk out. But I mean, as far as today,
I feel like this, dude. As far as the band who most represents, I mean, I don't know the people that I can think of, like people who quote unquote care about music, and like that represents like what the American like steez as far as like, it's like the most British band ever, Radiohead. You know what I mean, dude? Like motherfuckers just fall all over themselves for that, dude. Everywhere you go.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's just because it's like, no, we make art. I do declare. I haven't liked Radiohead for probably
since Kid A.
15 years. Yeah, if it has I don't even know how long has it
Yeah.
been. You know,
Ever kid A.
but their whole steez, you know what I mean? Like they ship a fucking headline any fucking place in America. If we're going by like the biggest band in America right now,
Well,
I don't know,
we can't go
maybe-
that way.
You can't go by that, 'cause
Yeah.
well, that's American.
You
That's
can't go by that
capitalism.
because Lil Wayne is embarrassingly
Oh,
popular,
You're right, dude.
and
Shame
Nicki
on
Minaj is embarrassingly popular. So let's go back to better times.
The sad thing, no, but the sad thing is we're I don't think we're intentionally doing this, but we're basing it off of popularity, which we only know because of what we hear and see in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Now we're not hearing about like, not to say underground because that's such a shtick thing to say, but like underground, like meaning like bands that are actually doing it from grassroots level.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to just like hear more about that stuff, which I challenge you guys to start throwing us more grassroots bands
For sure.
and opening us up.
See, and again, I mean, if you're yeah, another one of the bands that I saw listed that somebody wrote is Leonard Skinner, and as much as it pains me for those guys to be mentioned, they're pretty American. They're pretty American. I mean, as if you're going by the "Don't Tread on Me" version of America, then yeah, they're American. I can see that. I get it. You know, the Sweet Home Alabama, but then again, you know, counteracted by Mr. Neil Young, who came up again.
Very timely too, because they love to rock that Confederate flag, which is
We'll talk about that in a whole different.
Yeah, you know what I mean, dude. Like,
Yeah.
So I mean, and again, what are we for us to talk about this? I mean, are we talking about the ideal? Because there's a lot of bands that are putting out music today that talk about the social injustices and stuff like that. And there's a lot of punk rock out there that talks about, you know, the inadequacies and the different things that are going on politically and socially. And a prime example of that would be NoFX's The Decline. As much as they're deplorable, The Decline's a pretty good look into society circa 2000, you know.
Oh yeah.
It is. I mean, for what it is, it's a snapshot. But
I mean, nobody thought a punk band could write a song that long. I
punk
mean,
band, that's like
that's
seriously.
actually kind of impressive.
it was really a struggle to write a 3-minute song as a punk band.
Yeah, let alone, what was that, like 26
They
minutes
did
long?
6 times that much.
And again, if you listen to it from beginning to end, there's a lot of interesting insight into a lot of different parts of quote unquote Americana. And I don't know. And like I said, you know, there's a lot of different genres out there. There's another one that got mentioned to me that I almost rolled my eyes in the back of my head to where they fell out, like in that movie Beetlejuice, was the Zac Brown Band.
Oh, see, there you go. Country music, dude. Fucking Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson.
If
all
you're
that
gonna,
kind of shit,
and my
dude.
response to when I was told the Zac Brown Band was a middle finger and Willie Nelson followed by a headbutt,
Yeah.
because that's Americana as it gets. It's Willie Nelson.
Willie
So if you
Headbutt
think-
Nelson.
So yeah. So if you think about Willie Nelson, right? So mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys and all that stuff. Willie Nelson also wrote a song called "Cowboys Are Frequently Fond of Each Other."
Wow.
Yeah, which
I don't even know.
that song is.
I'm just amazed it doesn't have something to do with a horse, too.
That song has a lot of things. Well, he basically went and insulted the genre that he's a part of, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's like country music.
I'm with him.
And
on
here
that.
he, and here he goes. Willie Nelson comes out and essentially assaulted country music's masculinity in one foul swoop. That's pretty American. Hey, you guys built me. I'm gonna break you down.
Yeah, but it's like with anyone, like, you know who the number one band is. And the sad thing is like, you know, if you really listen to it, like, that may just be the band that just got popular and hit the right time, right place, you know, hit the right note. And then after that, all the other B songs on their stuff becomes popular and big, and oh, I want to be like that. And you're just like, but that's the thing is, like, there's the real bands, the popular bands, the grassroots bands, bands that are just following the
formula.
formula.
See, and again, you know, it goes back to, I guess, as far as opinions go, it goes back to, you know,
Hey.
what are your American ideals? Is it, you know, protecting your rights? Is it the ability to do whatever the hell you want? Because if it is, God damn it, the Beastie Boys fought for your right to party.
The Ramones.
The Ramones.
You know?
Beastie Boys, Beastie Boys and Ramones
Uh-huh.
were, I mean, Sex Pistols from England. So the Ramones and Beastie Boys.
But I mean, yeah, again, if it's, you know, fighting for your rights and stuff, I keep saying fighting for your rights.
One
It's
of the
just,
most loyal bands too. I mean, they didn't have any real breaks in the band. They stayed together and they did it.
yeah, true story. So.
Admirable.
They did. They didn't even keep going.
Admirable.
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 Something to be admired.
Admiral. Admiral band.
Worthy of admiration.
Worthy of admiration. Again, you
Admire much them.
Yes.
Fucking Yoda.
We'll talk more on that topic in Christmas.
But again, you know, I guess it just depends on what, in your opinion, America is. You know, and I guess, I mean, you know, that's up for a debate on a whole different topic. Maybe a Hannity show or something like that. But as far as we're concerned, evidently we feel the boss, Dylan, and the Beach Boys.
Okay, so now let's go, because that's overall.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we named a lot of other bands.
Yeah.
I still feel, for me, I because he left and came back, I feel like, to me, Hendrix, like, embodies that. Because Hendrix tried real hard. He didn't make it. He was in all these other bands, and he went off to the UK and became himself. He became a big deal over there and came back, and he was a fucking big deal here. I mean...
He's also in the armed forces, which is very American.
And beyond that, dude, the guy played one of the most recognizable non-traditional versions of the Star Spangled fucking Banner. I mean,
I don't know. Did you see Santana the other night? Not him, his wife.
Yeah. Cindy, the drummer, who played drums for Lenny Kravitz.
That's
Are
what
you
I was
going to
gonna
go
say.
my way?
Is that the
Cindy
same girl?
Blackman.
I was like, oh man.
Yeah, it's Cindy. That's
Is
Cindy
this like
Blackman.
a trend? Do they all look like? All
I
the
didn't see
drummers-
that. What was this, dude?
Oh, for the finals.
The Warriors game.
The
I thought it was
Star Spangled
Metallica.
Banner.
No,
Was it
one
fake?
of them
The
was.
last one.
Oh, okay.
When they,
But Carlos Santana played guitar while his wife, Cindy
oh,
Blackman,
I didn't even. He
Who
he
played-
was just basically playing this.
who played
all
drums
she was
for
doing
Lenny
drums
Kravitz
all
on
the time.
Are You Gonna Go My Way, like that album. She
That was
the chick with the afro.
That chick is Carlos Santana.
That's Carlos Santana's wife.
No shit.
Yeah, the
Wow, I did not know that.
I
didn't know.
Yeah,
She's
dude.
rocking
That's
it.
his wife, and
She's
she's
Stop yelling.
Tastefully rocking.
yeah, and
too.
she's not a bad. She's not just like
No,
a,
she's
a
nasty.
chick drummer. She's
She
like
was-
yeah.
She wasn't
Like
going
that.
crazy, but she was doing some tasty, good nookies, dude.
She's
It was
good,
nice,
dude. Little good nookie.
Dude, it was good, dude. It was nice.
And you just made Cindy Blackman feel uncomfortable. But yeah, I mean, his Hendrix's version of the Star Spangled Banner is pretty fucking iconic. Like, it's used in commercials and shit like that. You hear it, you know it's his version.
Yeah, but how many songs do you hear in commercials? You're like, please don't play this song
That's
anymore.
true. That's true.
But you're right. It stood
That's
the test of time. So that in itself is band names that could be turned into American nice band names. The most American band names you could come up with, changing one word or adding a word, or anywhere.
Okay.
2 minutes for all of us. We're gonna go around. You throw out a name first.
Okay.
I'll give you 12 seconds to figure it out, and then we're gonna start.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
Are you seriously gonna count to 12? Fucking jerk.
12. Go.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith. Pretty American.
Yeah.
Good religion.
Yeah.
Good religion. Dude, since we were talking about them, the American Eagles.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh shit.
Come on.
Oh man, that's hard.
You can pass.
Yeah, pass.
Okay. Damn it, I was going to say the Sex Pistols, but that's
Already incredibly American.
a lot of Sex Pistols.
A lot of sex.
The unprotected sex.
I gotta pass. I'm still thinking.
Pearl, strawberry, jam, and apple pie.
Limp Biscuit.
Limp Biscuit.
Limp Biscuit. I don't know how that makes it American.
Bisquick is hell of American. Dude.
Can I just say Tom Petty?
Oh,
Because Americans are pretty petty.
motherfucker.
Yeah, Tom Petty works, right?
Very Tom's Petty.
Tom's Petty. There you go. Tom's Petty.
That band that sang You Might Think, the Kardashians.
The Kardashians.
The Kardashians. I mean,
Oh god, no, you got me fucked up. I can't think of the names. Pasco.
Let's go with
4 seconds.
Paparazzi Roach.
Yeah, what a good one.
And the timer goes off.
That's a good one. All right, man. We'll cut to the shit. We'll cut through the shit, and we'll take the piece of paper, and we'll write down. Set your timer again, Barry.
All right.
2 minutes to shit out your most American bands and write them down. So I say
Start.
the Boss, Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I thought you said the boss tone. Whoa.
Whoa. I say Bruce Springsteen. I say James Brown.
There you go.
I say I'm still going to stand behind Rage Against the Machine. I'm going to say Bob Dylan. I'm going to say Stevie Wonder. I'm going to agree with the masses and say, I'm going to say Leonard Skinner, man. As much as I don't like it, they're pretty Americana. And then I'm going to say Little Richard. Because Little Richard's the man.
Right over to the left.
The Beach Boys, obviously. Dude, the guy's tattooed on my arm, Sly Stone.
Oh, I was going to say.
I'm going to say Run DMC.
Country.
And then right below it, I'm going to say the Fat Boys because that only happens in America.
And they jammed with the Beach Boys.
Yeah, they jam with the Beach Boys. I guess for the sake of conversation, say Robert Johnson.
Okay.
Go with those mullet-loving bastards, not the current version, but the mullet-loving bastards of Metallica.
Wow, you got it in right before. Almost
Metallica.
didn't get it.
Most American band, dude. I mean, obviously John Cougar Mellencamp. Johnny Cash is a big one, I think.
I was gonna say that's why I said country.
I mean, I can't believe Aerosmith and Van Halen. I would say both of those guys. Oh man,
I wouldn't. But
the Ramones. Yeah. Oh jeez. Michael Jackson. Shoot, dude. Shoot.
True story.
The Temptations. Yeah, Leonard Skinner is one. Am I allowed to repeat them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Okay.
now we'll figure out who we think is the most.
Leonard Skinner. Oh shit. Bob Dylan, definitely.
What about
Did I already say the Beach Boys?
No.
Yeah, the Beach Boys for sure.
What about the King's sister?
Janet. Shit. John Cougar Mellencamp. I already said him.
Yeah.
He's right off the bat, dude.
He's smiling wherever he
he's
is right
fucking
now.
juiced.
Whatever
He's
bayou,
never got more
whatever
press.
bayou he's in right now.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Speaking of bayous,
What about the red, blue, and white stripes?
Oh, there you go. Oh, I didn't think of that before.
oh, we should have done that.
I feel like Slayer's not very popular in Japan. And goddamn it, the Melvins. Yeah.
And God damn it, right under time.
Yeah.
All right, Rage Against the Machine. Bad Religion. Johnny Cash for sure. And now we're talking about representing and also
Having been from.
Pearl Jam. Public Enemy. NWA for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I think Nirvana, they basically symbolize the ups and downs of being in a band. I think I'm pretty short on mine. My list is pretty short.
Maybe we should try to figure out. Okay, like we've talked about like most American bands. Now we've got into like this. So now like okay, let's try to assemble a list. Like struck from the record says that these are the top 5 American bands.
Okay.
So pretty much all of us.
And then we have to dispute the order. After we get the 5 that we all agree on, we have to also establish an order. So now is when you're gonna make me stand up for Aerosmith. You're gonna make me.
You're gonna make me do that.
Let me see. Wait. Okay, we should start with the bands that are named twice.
All right. So moving forward, we've whittled our list down to 5 bands. We've got the Beach Boys, Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, Rage Against the Machine, and Leonard Skinner.
Nope, I have a problem with that list.
Right off the bat, for somehow we actually dropped all those names out of our mouth.
Yeah.
All 5 of those bands came up. None of which were intentional by chance, but so if we were to get these 5 bands together in a room, who the fuck wins in a fist fight?
Wait, does that make us the most American people in the world?
That's
Because
true.
we're making the decision. True
No,
story.
because 2, or like maybe even 3 of those bands have movies made off of them. Why did we even put the Doors? We could have had 4.
Because nobody likes the Doors. Like, I mean, nobody likes Leonard Skinner either.
I know someone who would argue that.
Well, good. I
True
hope she
story.
comments.
True story.
Good.
Barry's fucking marriage is on the rocks as we speak. Like I said, if we were to put these 5 bands in a fist fight, who wins?
Oh yeah, who makes it to the top of the hill?
Well, Johnny Cash should win, but I mean, the guy shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. But like, also Leonard Skinner has like 8 members, so that's not fair.
That's true. But then at the same time, I feel like Rage Against the Machine has a lot of pent-up aggression.
Yeah, but so does Michael Jackson, and he didn't make the list.
He's not on the list. So does Prince, but that's sexual tension.
Have you seen the size of Tommy Morello? The
Tom Morello's a
actual
pretty big dude.
songwriter to the band.
See, and I feel like the bass player from Rage Against the Machine, like, carries knives and weapons on him at all times. Like, he has that
Well,
look
they're
to
part of it.
his arms blacked out because there's actually a gun right there.
Yeah.
See, I think the Beach Boys would immediately get their ass kicked because they're like,
No, they could sing it in sleep, man.
Unless-
Kick your
That's
ass while
true,
you're
man.
asleep.
That's like the
unless Dennis Wilson's there. Dennis Wilson has that look like, I just did a lot of coke. I've been up all night. I'll fucking
And he hung
eat
out
you.
with the Manson family.
Yeah.
Yes, he has friends
Dude,
in low
like,
places.
you know.
Yeah. That's a true story.
So-
Yeah, the Manson correlation.
Not that that'll help him out now, but then it would have helped him out.
I feel like during all this, Bob Dylan's standing behind everybody going, "This is a
What do you do?
Yeah. I think Bob Dylan's immediately got his ass kicked by Zach De La Rocha, who was screaming "killing in the name of."
Dude.
All right, so let's figure out what weapons do they come up to this. What is this? King of the Hill we're playing? All right, King of the Hill. All right. We're going to go one time around for each band. Beach Boys, what weapon do they carry?
Surfboard.
I feel like the Beach Boys have a surfboard, and they have like this.
One weapon. That's it.
I feel like they have like a car from like Mad Max, like a souped-up 409 with all this armor on
What do
it.
they have? One weapon.
The
What do they
Beach
carry?
Boys, they're
Yeah.
whapping you with a surfboard, Jack.
All right. Mine is not the surfboard, but the fin that guides the surfboard.
They're slashing throats with the fin. Johnny Cash. Where's Johnny Cash guy?
That's a gun, dude. It's straight up,
Oh,
not a like. Here's
Have
the
you
thing.
seen Desperado? He's got
Not
a freaking
this.
guitar that shoots fucking bullets, dude.
Oh, we're going like Mortal Kombat with this.
Like
Oh,
an
that's
actual
even
revolver is
better.
what he's carrying.
Okay. Well, in that case, dude, he has like
It has heroin
Shoot
needles, dude,
fire.
that shoot out of his hand.
like.
Like he's infecting you with his heroin needles.
He could just have his wife coming at you. I don't know.
That's true. She wasn't very.
He's
intimidating.
actually got Waylon Jennings behind him with a shotgun. is
There
what
you
he
go,
has.
dude. He has a posse.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
what it is.
Bob Dylan. What does Bob Dylan have with him?
Bob Dylan makes you just like you can't fight back because you're covering your ears when he sings.
Like Jigglypuff from Pokemon?
You can't fight him because you want to help him.
You can't fight him.
Let's go, old man. You're like, oh, do you need help? Do you need help?
Do you need help across the street, sir? Rage Against the Machine. I feel like they're beating you with the Constitution or the Bill of Rights.
Big like metal
Like
constitution.
a bat with barbed wire around it that's wrapped in the Bill of Rights, and they're pounding.
Or doesn't
you.
he have a sticker on his guitar that said like "Arm the Homeless"? So he's got like an army of homeless people.
Yeah.
Like, that
True
guy
story.
that just walked down the
Or it
street.
says this
Like-
this guitar or this machine makes change or something like that.
I feel like his
Maybe it's a
posse is on
transformer,
Broadway.
dude.
Yeah.
I feel like his posse is on Broadway.
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner's one of
good
those
God.
bands that I figured just shows up, dude, and they're like drinking whiskey and want to punch you, dude. Like they're really there
Now, are
for
we
a
gonna
fist
do
fight.
now?
I know what they
Or
do. No,
back
no, no.
then?
They're kamikazes, dude. They're
Are we doing-
crashing planes.
Are we doing now or then?
Oh no!
I mean, let's be
Oh,
serious.
man.
Bonsai!
What's that noise? It's Leonard Skinner coming down in a plane, playing Sweet Home Alabama. Oh, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
dig
take it
that.
by this whole judge. I kind of think the Beach Boys win it. No,
Because they're
actually, no.
splitting
Johnny Cash and Beach Boys that's who is through the end because
Heroin needles flying at you.
I love that we've decided who like the most representative American band is, not even based on band quality whatsoever.
Look at we're gonna fight.
honestly, actually,
This turned to celebrity
might
deathmatch
be worth
real
way in
quick.
there because you gotta expect a voice that sounds like that. The breath is worse.
That's seriously
That's
a
true,
card
dude.
today.
No
That's
joke,
seriously a
dude.
card
Because you
today.
can't cover your ears and your nose at the
Yeah.
same time.
If I fight someone,
One ear
I'm
and
not
one
even-
nostril. Oh my
I'm
God.
not even punching. I'm just going like, you know.
Dude, how long has he had that scarf on?
Yeah, dude.
Bob Dylan just snuck back up in the rankings.
Okay, so Bob, Cash, and Boys. All right, so now.
See, but
The
there's
Bob
a
Cash Boys is going to be
Bob
my new
Cash Boys is
That's
the most
the
American band.
All right, write it down.
Bob Cash.
The Bob Cash Boys.
Write it big and just put it in front of the camera.
Isn't that a rap group from Florida?
Cash Boys.
Bob Cash Boys.
Bam. Boys.
All right, now.
Finished.
Let's move on and we'll talk about the most American song. American song's a little bit easier because there's.
But do you think Bob Cash Boys could make this American song good?
I was okay if you start the band the Bob Cash Boys, like so you have Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, and the Beach Boys. You kick Mike Love out of the band and let Bob Dylan sing. Like you know,
I'm listening.
you know
No,
what I'm saying, dude.
So the Beach Boys did play The
No.
Times Are A-Changing.
You let Cash sing, because he'll fucking hurt you if you don't.
That's true, man.
And what else can you do?
Brian Wilson ain't gonna do shit. He's gonna
Yeah.
okay, buddy, you can do whatever you want.
And you let the Beach Boys do the chorus harmonies.
I'm still fucking thinking. I don't know, man. I have a problem with this because I feel like Joe Perry's a tough motherfucker. That guy's built like a fucking flyweight fighter. Dude, I can't.
Joe Perry looks like he's taken plenty of punches to the face already.
Yeah, dude, he's all fucking mangled. It's like Mickey Rourke. He's
After
From
his
Sin
seven
City.
surgeries.
From Sin City. Like, he looks like that Mickey Rourke.